What does 800,000 actually buy you in southern Utah right now? Because the answer is completely different depending on which location you look at, whether it's St. George, Hurricane, Ivins, Santa Clara, Washington. In some areas, 800,000 would get you 4 or 5 bedrooms, maybe an RV garage. In other areas, 800,000 might get you a smaller home, but with stunning views or more of a resort style feel. In this video, I'm going to break down what 800,000 will buy you in different locations here in southern Utah. I'm also going to include a big mistake that I see people make when they start to shop for homes, and also help you pay attention to what southern Utahns look at. My name is Dalen Hales. I'm your local southern Utah realtor. I do this full time. I'm grateful to do it, and I love it. I genuinely enjoy real estate, and I want to help you make the smartest move possible. My goal is to help you understand what neighborhoods make sense for you, what kind of lifestyle that you want. So if you're thinking about buying or selling or relocating anywhere in southern Utah, you can call me or text me. I'd love to be able to help you make the smartest move possible. First thing to understand is that 800,000 is a strong budget. You can get a really nice house for that, but it's not the same everywhere down here. St. George is kind of the hub of southern Utah, if you will, and it's the largest city in Washington County. The mall is located in St. George, the airport's located in St. George, the hospital is located, a lot of these main resources are located in St. George. Washington County has grown a ton, and it's still growing, but each city down here has its own different feel. And at this price point, buyers are usually deciding between 5 different things. They decide, do I want the most house possible? Do I want newer construction? Do I want views? Am I moving to southern Utah because of the views? Do I want an RV garage? And lastly is, do I want short-term rental potential, which is important because you can't have a short-term rental just anywhere down here. Let's start with St. George. 800,000 is going to get you 4 to 5 bedrooms, right? 2 to 3,000 square feet, and it obviously varies. Some parts of St. George, you'll find newer homes, but a lot of the time you're going to find more mature homes with more mature landscape, but with something that a lot of the other areas don't have, and that is convenience. This is the biggest trade-off of St. George. That 800,000 may not stretch as far as maybe it would in Hurricane or Washington. And when it comes to short-term rentals, St. George is quite strict, right, with allowing short-term rentals. If you're looking into a short-term rental, we would make sure the house is in proper zoning. We would look at the HOA and the CC&Rs to make sure that you're good to go. Next is Washington City, especially Washington Fields. So there's 2 parts to Washington. There's Old Town Washington, where there's a lot older homes, more mature trees, right, where it dates back to the pioneer days. And then there's newer Washington. $800,000 in Washington Fields is going to give you a lot stronger options. There's plenty of new builds if you want lots of garage space. You want 3,000 to 4,000 square feet. You want 4 or 5 bedrooms. And if you want a traditional residential neighborhood where there's room for your kids to go out and play on the sidewalks or the streets that are extra wide. Washington City also is known for having some immaculate houses that you may have seen on the news because it's a nice area and there's a lot of farmland that has recently been sold, and they're building out these custom homes and new development and new neighborhoods. So the trade-off with Washington, especially Washington Fields, is that you're just not as close to the amenities as you would be in St. George or downtown St. George. And similar to St. George, Washington City is pretty strict with short-term rentals, but there are several areas specifically zoned for short-term rentals. Now let's talk about Hurricane in San Hollow side of southern Utah. This is where 800,000 can feel very different, and it obviously depends on which part of Hurricane. Some of it is more mature than other parts, but a lot of it is new. Your 800,000 isn't going just towards a house. It's also going towards being recreation focused. People that look over here are looking at being close to Zion National Park. They're looking at being close to Sand Hollow. They're looking at places to park their boats, their UTVs, their razors. They want to be close to the lake, right? And they're fine with spending some money to get close to those amenities. Because you're close to those amenities, you're not close to so many grocery stores, schools, medical care, right? There are some options, but they're not quite as convenient as St. George and even Washington City soon enough. 800,000 will again get you 3 to 4 bedroom, 3,000 to 4,500 square feet, depending on if it's a more traditional area or if it's a new build. And typically you can find RV garages and houses about 600,000 up. They come more standard in the $800,000 range if you're looking to buy close to Sand Hollow. Now it's very flat out here. It's very desert-like. If you're looking for mature trees, this is not the place for you. If you want a place solely for recreation, and it's an awesome place for recreation, I would look at Dixie Springs, and other parts of Hurricane. Short-term rentals is also a little bit tricky. They don't just have designated zones for short-term rentals, but you have to apply for a business license, and they also cap how many homes can be listed as a short-term rental. Again, it would be something we would do during the due diligence. Now let's move to the more western side of the greater St. George area. Let's talk about Ivins and Santa Clara. This is where the conversation changes again about what $800,000 can get you. $800,000 in Ivins or Santa Clara may not buy you the biggest house or the most house possible. In other words, you may not get the most bang for your buck per square foot. But those that move out to Ivins and Santa Clara are looking for a very specific lifestyle and neighborhood. If you're looking in Ivins or Santa Clara, you're often buying the views, the gorgeous red mountain right there with the absolutely stunning views that looks like it's out of a movie. You're buying being close to Tuacahn. You want more space between neighbors, right? With walking paths everywhere. Maybe you like golf, such as a Black Desert Resort where they have PGA tours come. Maybe you like the black lava rock look instead of only the red rock look. Maybe you want to be close to Snow Canyon State Park and you love to go hiking and go off-roading and you want to go hiking in these gorgeous areas. A lot of times we think of red rock when we think of southern Utah. Ivins especially is where you'll find some of those gorgeous red rock views. There's places like Fire Lake, Black Desert Resort, or maybe you want a lot of space in between neighbors and maybe stick to yourself a little bit more. Then Ivins is also a great area for you. I've also personally lived in Santa Clara and it was great. It's one of the safest cities that you can live in. You won't be nearly as close to grocery stores as you would be in St. George, but they are expanding out there. If you like the desert feel, Ivins and Santa Clara will be a good option to look into. Now here's a few useful things to pay attention to while looking for homes in southern Utah. Number one is garage space. Do you need extra garage space? Because that's going to change the location of what house you're going to look at. Do you have an RV, a motorhome? Do you have some boats? Do you need an RV garage or an RV pad? Number two is your backyard orientation. So which way is your backyard facing? West facing backyards can get very hot in the summertime unless you have a pool, which is our next one. Number three is pool versus no pool. Is there a pool at the house? How old is the pool? Have there been any previous repairs on it? And it's good to factor in maintenance costs when looking for a home. Number four is landscaping and water. A big grass yard looks awesome, but a lot of people here kind of want the xeriscape feel where you don't have to worry about grass. Is grass more important to you or is turf? Number five is HOA. HOAs, as you know, can affect parking, right? Where guests park, where your family parks when they come and visit you. It affects if you can rent it out. It affects how many people can live there. It affects if you can have a trailer outside on the street or on your driveway. So something worth looking into, which leads us to number six, short-term rentals, right? This is a big one. Southern Utah can be a great place for short-term rentals as long as we do it properly. Now here's a few mistakes to try and avoid. Number one is only comparing homes by square footage, right? I've talked about this already, but is getting as much house as possible more important to you, or maybe your lifestyle and recreation and views? Are those more important to you? Another mistake is only looking at new construction homes, right? If you're only looking at new construction, you may not get the upgrades that a slightly older home may have. Another mistake I see people make is not factoring in HOA. If there is an HOA, we will look at the CCNRs in depth to make sure we understand what we need to abide by. And lastly, short-term rentals. They are big and you can't have short-term rentals everywhere. There are lots of options of where you can have a short-term rental, but we have to do some checking beforehand. If you're still wondering which part of southern Utah you should look into, go ahead and check out this video and I'll see you in the next one.